Jeremy TV.
Welcome back to the channel. Jeremy here with you on another installment of the Never Ending Barn Project. And I've got a quick how-to video today to show you how to adjust the roll-up doors on one side of the barn. One of the doors is fine, it opens and closes just fine with no problems. The west door, however, when I open or close it, at one point right up where the door is almost completely up on the reel, either going up or down, it hangs up on a bolt head that is in one of the gussets up near the piece of trim on the top of the door. So after my dad and I got to looking at it the other day when we were putting in electricity, he noticed that it looks like you can adjust the door forward or backward away from the opening or toward the opening. So I'm going to loosen the 4 bolts there and bump that thing about a ½ inch back and see if that helps the opening issue. So let me get the camera and I'll get closer and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're out here on the outside of the west door, and as you notice, it's got some scuff marks on the door, and those are because of a bolt that is right up here near the top of the opening, and that's one of the support gussets that's on that very end of the building there. And I guess there's not enough of a gap when the door goes up near the top, so when it's closing, when it's almost all the way open, or when you're just starting to close it, this door right here rubs on that bolt head and it's just marking it up pretty bad. So what I want to do is loosen these 2 bolts on this side, and there's 2 identical bolts on the east side, and start by just bumping this back about a ½ inch and see if it gives me the clearance that I need to keep the door off of that bolt head. Okay, so it's a 9/16. I'm just going to use my ratchet here, try to do this one-handed while I'm also recording. I'm just going to loosen that up a little bit and then kind of torque on it to get loose, and then hit this one. Got them both loose. All right, so they're not extremely loose, just enough that should allow me to adjust that, and I'm gonna go over here and do it to the other side. Okay, loosen it just a little bit more. Okay, so now you can see there's a little bit, I had to put the camera down and use both hands to pull on the door, but there's a little bit of a gap there. It's probably like a ½ inch or a little bit more. I mean, just enough to move it, and it really wasn't even this side that was having the problems. I really want to pull it more back on that side, but I had to loosen it up a little bit more to get it to let me pull it back. So I'm gonna go on the other side, loosen it a little bit more, and get it pulled back. So I'm just loosening it until I feel no resistance, and those are both pretty loose. So now I'm just gonna kind of bump it back just a little bit. I say I am. That's the plan anyway. Okay, put it down with both hands. That's what she said. So I got it loosened up enough, and I pulled it back with both hands there, and I got it a little bit more than I want, so I'm gonna go ahead and just bump it a little bit forward. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that down and try it and see if that gives me the gap that I need to keep that door from rubbing on the bolt head. All right, so those are about as tight as I want to get them. I'm gonna go ahead and go out here and try the door and see how it works. All right, so that was better. That's probably going to be right. It's giving me about 1/8 of an inch gap between that bolt head and the door. But as you roll it down, it gets a little bit bigger gap. So that now, it's probably more like an inch gap. So that's good. It didn't even rub any. I guess I'll get some touch-up paint to take care of the areas that's already been marked up. But we should be good to go now. Looks like on the roll-up, there's not anywhere touching now. There's just a little bit of a gap, which is probably what you want. You don't want too big a gap there. So looks like that's going to work out fine. And I only had to adjust the door about 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch on this side. So I bumped it about 1/4 inch or so on the east side, but that looks like that's going to work. So I guess that project is complete now, which is a good thing because I have a 6 other things left to do before I can say that this barn project is done. Again, thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.